Have you been thinking about planning an awesome vacation, maybe somewhere tropical, maybe somewhere overseas, but you just do not have the time? Well, today I'm talking to my friend Vivian, who is an amazing person, and she has an amazing travel agency that she owns. So I want to talk to her about how she can help you plan your next vacation. How are you today?
Fine, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad you decided to talk with me today about your business. Tell us all about your travel business that you have.
Sure. Um, I've always been the family's travel planner. Got two sons, and we've gone a bunch of places. And then about 2022, I ran into someone getting my Apple Watch fixed who worked for a travel agency that sold mostly Disney. And
Oh.
I don't know, it's just talking to him and talking about his agency, something just struck a chord with me. And I went right home and applied and got the job as travel advisor. Mind you, that was second job. I already had a full-time job. And I thought I was going to be selling a lot of Disney, but that's really not how it turned out at all. And so, I started, building, web clientele, Facebook and Instagram, and little by little, letting people know what I was doing. And so, people started calling me to ask to plan trips. And so, it took a lot of trainings, watched a lot of YouTube videos, used my expertise from having traveled a lot myself and, began building the business. And the next thing planning trips sort of all over the world, doing cruises and things like that. And then also, traveling even more myself to learn and be able to help people do what they do. And I guess what I really enjoy building trips for people, based on what they want. You know what I mean? Like they have something in their mind, and so trying to talk to them and understand what it is they're really looking for and, build the trip of their dreams. Because I'm there with them from the beginning all the way to the end. And even if, you need refunds or something else afterwards, I'm there for you through that too.
Oh my goodness, I love it. And let me start out by saying, first of all, you are a world traveler. I mean, when I tell you I see you traveling the world, all sorts of countries, all different places, tropical, Europe. I mean, tell us about some of your travels this year alone in 2025.
Sure. One highlight was a Norwegian cruise, which was a friend's birthday celebration and started in Amsterdam, then went to, and I'm sorry, it actually started in Belgium. And
Mm.
then we went to Bruges and then Amsterdam, three stops in Norway, one which was Geiranger, which was
Oh,
unbelievably beautiful, and three stops in Iceland. And that some of that looked like you were on the moon. So then Aruba, went to Aruba, hadn't been there for, I don't know, something like 30 years. Enjoyed that. Went on a Viking cruise, which was to Italy, sort of around the boot of Italy. Fabulous. Stayed in a castle initially, which was great.
wow.
Suit of armor and everything there. Went to the Dominican Republic for the first time with 17 members of my family, which that was great. Um, Chicago, but that's sort of a quick trip, but I mean Chicago is fabulous for people who haven't been there. Um, oh, and then to what is it, Park City for
Oh,
just rest and relaxation is beautiful there. And this was in June, so it wasn't for skiing or anything. So
okay.
that's some of what I've done this year. As I look back, I mean, it sort of does seem like a lot, but as it's happening, I just love to travel. I really do.
Well, I know that. And one place, two places you actually did not mention, which you're a huge fan of Disney. We went to Disney in April, of course, and you just got back from Tampa. to Florida,
True.
Florida destinations. But, there's lots of people who love Disney, for example, like you do. I mean, and I did an internship at Disney like 20 some years ago, but going back as an adult, wow, there's a lot of planning involved. Like, so say someone is looking to take their family to Disney, how can you help them plan that trip? Because I'll tell you what, you helped all of us. So how could you help them plan?
Sure. Well, there's obviously Disney World and Disneyland, and so
Mhm.
maybe understanding first the difference, the differences between the two because they are very different and where somebody might want to go. And then if they're with younger kids, older kids, just adults, where to stay. Then, going into the parks themselves, just the strategy if, you do want to ride rides how to make the most of your time, the food that you'd like to eat, because there are great restaurants everywhere. And sort of how to do this all without completely breaking the bank, right?
Oh my goodness. Yes, that's true. So, someone comes to you and says, "Hey, this is how many days I want to be there. This is my budget. This is what I want to do." So basically, do you take care of everything from beginning to end? How does that work?
Yes, I will. Sometimes people say, well, you know what? I want to get my flights. I got that.
Mm.
Or, there's some other part that they don't want. But yeah, I mean, I like to be able to do beginning to end because then it's like okay I'm responsible for it and I know that I'm going to make sure that everything ties together and if there is any problem I know what numbers and whatnot to call to solve things especially when you're in destination you don't want to have issues there.
Right. So, some people have never used a travel agent, to some people that might be intimidating. They might not know the process. So basically someone would just contact you, and we'll give your information later, but someone would contact you. Again, they give you all of their dates, budget, and things like that. You help them plan. I know actually we are all going to London in April. Is it April? And you're helping quite a few people plan those trips. So, my question to you is, how far in advance do people need to contact you if they want you to help them plan a trip? How early or what's too late?
It's I can't say it's ever too late. I mean, the day before would probably be too late, but obviously the earlier the better because you have
Mhm.
more options and usually costs are lower because again, you haven't gotten to the point where there's scarcity and prices start to go
Mhm.
up. Um, 6 months, 4 months, 3 months, it really sort of just depends. But I think those are the ultimate. But I mean, if somebody came a month ahead and said they wanted help, that's fine. Like I said, you just have to understand that your options become more limited as the time gets closer.
So that is something you can do. Say someone, wants some sort of payment plan. Are there different vacation options out there where that's deals that you can work out for people?
Sure. Sometimes there are things like, say, with a cruise. Generally, you put a deposit down,
Hmm.
and then payment is due at some final payment date. And some people prefer to then be on a payment plan, make themselves disciplined, and you can set that up so that your card gets charged monthly or something. Or like say with a lot of the Disney vacations, you pay a deposit, but then you don't pay until you actually get to the resort. You know what I mean? Like you pay the rest of it then. But certainly payment plans can, be made. You're sort of making yourself be disciplined because usually it's just, some payment out pretty close to the time when you travel.
Okay. So when people do decide to go on a vacation of a lifetime, you can do everything. You can do restaurant reservations, excursions. Is that true? Do you have access to all those things?
Absolutely. I did an Ireland trip for a client recently, and I mean, I was on the phone with the concierge at her hotel to figure out for like what were they recommending as far as restaurants, and Microsoft Copilot and other AI tools are my best friends, to help gather information, like what to do in various places. And some of the suppliers that I use are, have experts in destination that can help because I mean, you can't have been everywhere, but these people know, and they deal with locals so that you can get the best recommendations and everything. But yes, can do everything from soup to nuts if that's what you want. Some people like to just wing it. They go and they're like, I'll talk to the locals and ask them for recommendations. Okay, that's what you want to do. That's fine. Or some people want to kind of have every step kind of choreographed for them, that's also fine.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would feel comfortable if they had a lot of things planned for their trip instead of winging it. I know there's probably a few out there. To me, that sounds horrible to wing anything. I would want every detail planned. But, you have so much knowledge because, of course, I asked you where you traveled in 2025, but you've been all over. You've studied different places, you've traveled the world. What is your favorite thing about owning this travel business?
So I previously worked in corporate America all my life.
Mhm.
The flexibility, you guys, you got to tell people more about how wonderful that is. Being your
Yes.
own boss is amazing. But marrying the fact that I love travel with that being what I do, that is got to be the best. I would say the only downside to it is that as I research each trip, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to go there. Oh my gosh, I want to go there. And so my bucket list has expanded amazingly, but I mean, how fun is that to be able to do something that you love and find, really eminently like interesting and fascinating. And for my clients, I'm living vicariously through them when they're on their trips. So, like I'm trying not to be a pain in the neck and bug them, but it's like, hey, how's it going? What are you doing? Like it just because I want to make sure everything's okay, but also it's like, what's it look like? What are you doing? And I love it. I absolutely love it. And then, opportunities to travel for myself because then I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
working. I'm traveling, but I'm
Exactly.
working.
It's
Yeah.
a write-off. It's a write-off.
And
Um,
I forgot the last thing that I did was to go on a river cruise. And so that was my
ooh,
first sort of real river cruise, down the Rhine in Germany, but started in Switzerland, France and Germany on either side of the river. So we're going to both and then ended in Amsterdam. Um, these little towns, and they were getting ready for their Christmas markets. I mean, just fascinating. Uh, I know there are people who are homebodies and like to stay home. I am like the complete opposite. If I can be going, I want to go. And if you want to go, I want to make it easy for you to go and really enjoy travel and, see it, sort of the way I see it is not like intimidating or problematic, but just like a joy.
yes. Well, I know if anyone out there ever wanted to consider using a travel agent, I would definitely recommend you. Vivian, you're the nicest, most kind person. You're so easy to talk to. I got to talk with you at Disney a little and talk with you in Tampa, and you are just an amazing person and you care about people and you want to help people. And that's what we're in business for. Whether, I'm in real estate, you're in travel, but it doesn't matter. Your whole goal as a travel agent or owning your own travel agency is to help people, right?
Hmm. And it's amazing. It's great. I understand how you all feel when you find the right house for someone, get them in or sell a house if somebody wants to sell. And so getting a chance to help people make those travel dreams come true is fantastic.
Oh, I love it. So you actually have a Facebook page, and what is it called?
Viv's iconic destination. So, facebook.com/, Viv's iconic destinations. And then also on Instagram, Viv's iconic destinations. You could find me there. Or, if you're putting things in your notes for the recording, I'll give you all
Mhm.
my contact information.
Yes, we will definitely put it below, but definitely, follow Vivian on social media. She's always going places, and you'll just be so jealous. You'll want to go ahead and book your own trip. So, yes, we'll put your email, your phone number, and all your socials in here. But I am just so thankful you were able to talk with me today. I love the idea that you were able to start this travel agency, and now you can help more people travel around the world, which is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you, and thanks to the people who pivot in advance that made me take the leap to go ahead and create this business, do it full time.
Oh my gosh. I just know you're loving it and you're so happy, and we are so happy to know you. So thanks for talking with me. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.